What if the fear of failure didn't hold you back? Picture for a moment a world where the fear of failure doesn't exist, where the daunting shadow of potential defeat doesn't loom over your every endeavor. Instead, there's only the exhilarating thrill of possibility, the invigorating sense of adventure, the pure, unadulterated joy of simply trying. Now, snap back to reality. We live in a world where fear of failure has become all too common, almost as if it's a rite of passage. It's a silent epidemic, spreading its roots deep within the fabric of our society. It's that gnawing feeling at the pit of your stomach when you're about to step into the unknown. That voice in the back of your head whispering, "What if you fail?" This fear, this insidious apprehension holds us back from reaching our full potential. It's like an invisible wall keeping us locked within the confines of our comfort zones. It's the enemy of innovation, the destroyer of dreams, the thief of potential. It's the voice that says, "Don't try, don't dare, don't dream." But why do we let it? Why do we let this fear dictate our lives, stifle our ambitions, and limit our potential? The truth is, failure is not the enemy. It's a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone on the path to success. But the fear of failure, that's the true adversary. It deceives us into believing that we are not good enough, not capable enough, not worthy enough. So how do we overcome it? How do we break free from the shackles of this fear and tap into our limitless potential? The answer lies in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. It's a philosophy that teaches us to embrace adversity, to welcome challenges, to view failure not as a setback, but a stepping stone on the path to success. Imagine the possibilities if this fear didn't exist. Imagine the dreams you could chase, the heights you could reach, the person you could become. The world is full of infinite possibilities, and it's time we started exploring them fearlessly. Have you ever heard of Stoicism? It's an ancient philosophy that might just hold the key to conquering your fear. Born in the heart of Athens over 2,000 years ago, Stoicism is a philosophy that stands the test of time. Its wisdom has guided the likes of Epictetus Seneca and even a Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. At its core, Stoicism is about finding tranquility, a state of peacefulness and calm amidst the chaos of life. The Stoics believed in a simple yet profound principle. Some things are in our control while others are not. The weather, time, and the actions of others are beyond our reach. However, our own thoughts, actions, and reactions are within our control. The Stoics taught that we should expend our energy and focus on these controllable aspects of life and accept the uncontrollable with grace and equanimity. Stoicism is not about suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent to life. Rather, it's about understanding the nature of our emotions and not letting them control us. It's about realizing that our perspective shapes our reality. A challenging situation can either be seen as a setback or an opportunity for growth, depending on how we choose to view it. One of the most powerful tools of Stoicism is the practice of negative visualization. It involves imagining the worst-case scenarios and accepting them as possibilities. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's a powerful way to reduce anxiety and fear. By acknowledging the worst that could happen, we often realize that we can survive it, and our fear loses its grip on us. Stoicism is a practical philosophy, a guide for living a good life. It's not about achieving perfection, but about striving for progress, about becoming a little better each day. It's about accepting life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But how exactly can Stoicism help us overcome the fear of failure? Stoicism, a philosophy hailing from ancient Greece, has much to say on the subject of failure. At its core, Stoicism teaches us that we have control over our own minds and responses, not the events that happen around us. This principle is powerful when applied to our fear of failure. Imagine you're setting out to write a novel. The fear of failure looms large. What if your plot is weak? What if your characters are dull? What if no one reads it? In the Stoic mindset, the answer is simple. So what? You control your effort and dedication, not the outcome. The outcome, whether success or failure, is indifferent. It doesn't affect your intrinsic value. This might sound harsh, but it's actually incredibly liberating. You are, in essence, detaching your self-worth from the outcome of your actions. You're free to pursue your goals without the crippling fear of failure. You're free to fail, learn and grow. Stoicism also encourages us to accept failure as part of life and growth. Just like a child learning to walk, we all stumble and fall, but each fall is an opportunity to learn, to improve and to move closer to our goals. It's not a setback, but a stepping stone towards success. Consider this: failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Each failure is a lesson, a chance to grow, to improve. It's a signal that tells us where we need to focus our efforts. Without failure, there is no growth, no improvement, no success. Stoicism teaches us to view failure not as a terrifying monster, but as a teacher. A harsh teacher, perhaps, but one that guides us towards our goals. Failure isn't something to be feared, but something to be embraced, studied, and learned from. Remember, in Stoicism, failure isn't a setback, it's an opportunity. So how can you apply Stoicism to your life to combat your fear of failure, you may wonder? Well, there are a few practical techniques that can be borrowed from the Stoics, which can help you manage this fear and even use it to your advantage. First, we have the practice of negative visualization. This may sound counterintuitive, but it simply involves contemplating the worst-case scenarios. Imagine the worst that could happen if your endeavor were to fail. The loss, the embarrassment, the disappointment. Now consider how you would still survive, adapt and continue to live your life even if this worst-case scenario were to happen. This practice helps us realize that the fear of failure is often exaggerated in our minds. The reality is rarely as catastrophic as we imagine, and we are more resilient than we give ourselves credit for. Next, we come to the principle of focusing on the present. Stoicism teaches us that the past and the future are outside our control. The only thing we truly have influence over is the present moment. So why waste time worrying about a future failure that may never come? Instead, focus on what you can do right now. Make the most of the present moment and let the future unfold as it will. Finally, we have the concept of maintaining an internal locus of control. This is the belief that we have control over our own actions and reactions, even if we can't control external events. If you fail, instead of blaming external factors, look within. What could you have done differently? What can you learn from this experience? By focusing on what you can control, you empower yourself to grow and improve. These Stoic techniques aren't just theories, they're actionable steps you can take today. They provide a framework to help you understand and manage your fear of failure, turning it from a paralyzing force into a powerful motivator for personal growth. And remember, failure isn't a setback, it's a stepping stone on the path to success. But don't just take our word for it. Let's hear from some people who've used Stoicism to overcome their fear of failure. Take the case of Amelia, a brilliant software engineer who struggled with imposter syndrome. The fear of not being good enough, of being exposed as a fraud, was crippling her performance. She turned to Stoicism, adopting the principle of focusing solely on what she could control. Amelia began to realize that she couldn't control others' perceptions, but she could control her work, her learning, and her response to criticism. This change in perception transformed her career. Today, Amelia is a successful tech lead, inspiring others with her story. Then there's Max, an athlete whose fear of failure prevented him from reaching his full potential. He was so afraid of losing that he wasn't giving his all during the games. Stoicism taught Max to detach his self-worth from the outcome of the games. He learned to see failure not as a personal defeat, but as an opportunity for growth. Max started to embrace every match, win or lose, as a chance to learn and improve. This shift in mindset propelled Max to become one of the top players in his league. And let's not forget Sarah, a writer paralyzed by the fear of rejection. She had a drawer full of unfinished manuscripts, held back by the thought of negative reviews. Sarah discovered Stoicism and its teachings on accepting things as they come and understanding the transient nature of life. She started to see each rejection not as a personal attack, but as a step closer to success. Sarah now has several published books and a loyal readership. These stories are just a few among countless others. They demonstrate the power of Stoicism in transforming fear of failure into a stepping stone for success. From engineers to athletes to writers, people from all walks of life have used Stoicism to reclaim their lives from the clutches of fear. These stories show that overcoming fear of failure with Stoicism isn't just possible, it's been done. So, are you ready to overcome your fear of failure? Let's take a moment to reflect on our journey so far. We've delved deep into the world of Stoicism, understanding its roots and core principles. We've explored how this ancient philosophy encourages us to view failure not as a terrifying monster, but as an opportunity for growth and learning. We've discussed the power of perception and how it can shape our experiences. Remember, it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. The fear of failure is not born from failure itself, but from the negative connotations we associate with it. We've also highlighted the practical Stoic techniques that can help us in this endeavor. Techniques like negative visualization, wherein we imagine the worst-case scenario to lessen its power over us. Or practices like voluntary discomfort, where we deliberately put ourselves in challenging situations to build resilience and prepare ourselves for potential failure. We've shared inspiring stories of people who have successfully used Stoicism to overcome their fear of failure. These are individuals who have transformed their lives by adopting a Stoic mindset. Individuals who have learned to see failure as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Now it's your turn. Start integrating these Stoic principles into your life. View failure as an opportunity, not a setback. Embrace it as a teacher, not a tormentor. Remember, Stoicism is not about eliminating emotions, but about transforming them. It's about turning fear into courage, disappointment into determination, and failure into fuel for success. The road to overcoming your fear of failure won't be easy. It will require patience, perseverance, and a lot of self-reflection. But remember, every journey starts with a single step. And the first step is changing your perspective. So dare to step out of your comfort zone. Dare to fail. Dare to grow. Remember, the only thing standing between you and your fear of failure is your perspective. We've covered a lot today, but the journey is just beginning. You've dipped your toes into the tranquil waters of Stoicism, and perhaps you felt a stir within you. A shift, maybe slight, but significant nonetheless. That, my friend, is the beginning of a changed perspective. Stoicism, in essence, is not a quick fix, but a lifelong journey. It's a philosophy that invites us to reassess our values, our fears, and our responses to the world around us. It's the art of mastering your mind, of embracing the inevitable uncertainties of life with grace and resilience. You've learnt about the fear of failure and how it can cripple us, paralyze us into inaction. You've also discovered how Stoicism arms us with the tools to combat this fear. It teaches us to separate what is within our control from what is not, to focus on actions and efforts rather than the outcomes we so often obsess over. But remember, Stoicism is not just about overcoming fear, it's about creating a life of tranquility, of peace amid chaos. It's about accepting life as it comes and finding contentment in the present moment. It's about learning to see hardships, not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth and self-improvement. As you continue to explore Stoicism, you'll find that the lessons it imparts seep into all aspects of your life. It's a journey of continuous learning, of unlearning, of relearning. You'll stumble, you'll falter, but remember, each stumble is a step forward, each falter a chance to rise stronger. I encourage you to embark on this journey, to delve deeper into the teachings of Stoicism, to challenge your fears, to transform your perspective. Because at the end of the day, it's not about never failing, it's about never fearing to try again. Fear of failure may be a formidable foe, but with Stoicism, it's one you're well equipped to conquer. The question now is, are you ready to take control?